On Billboard tonight, award-winning poet Jean Cooper Moran, Oscar-winning actor Frances McDormand, and music from Icelandic superstar Björk. Welcome to Billboard with me, Ted Stanley, for our monthly roundup of arts and entertainment in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. Theatres in the region have been telling us all about their exciting plans to reopen. And next month we will be featuring a special theatrical roundup. In the meantime, Tony Barker talks to Hessel Theatre Company's Russell Fallon about their rescheduled production of Shrek the Musical.
It probably goes without saying that it's something we've been looking forward to for a long time. Normally your shows come maybe a year in advance, you hear about them and you get to start the process. But with this one, we started this in 2019. In September 2019, and we'd heard that we were going to be doing Shrek probably at the end of 2018. So by the time it's been on, it'll have been 4 years since we announced it, auditioned it, started rehearsing it, had to cancel it, and then put it back on again. So yeah, it's very exciting. I think I'm speaking for just myself here when I say that it's been the light at the end of the tunnel for quite a few of us now.
How did it feel to be told that the show can't go on because it couldn't then?
I mean, it was tough. It was, in all honesty, it was one of those things that I think it developed quite slowly. We kind of heard about it over Christmas. By mid-January, we kind of feared this is coming our way, and by beginning of February, it was here.
Is it going to take long to get your costume together because you've got to dress up in the Green Man himself in Shrek?
Yeah, I mean, we did a bit of research as to other people who have done the show and what they've done. We never quite got to practice the full works for it, even though we were only 6 weeks away. We were literally, I think it was maybe even that weekend, we were supposed to be meeting to have a trial run of all of the makeup. So I never quite got to have it all on. But from what I understand, it's going to be an hour, if not more, for me in makeup. There's Shrek is an ogre. And it's not a spoiler, I don't think, to say that Fiona ends up, as an ogre at certain points of the show. You have Shrek's mum and dad start the show and a baby Shrek. So there's 5 of us to get into the ogre makeup. So there's going to be quite a big team. Luckily, the whole new theatre have had a big refurb, and downstairs the areas that you can use have been much improved. So getting 5 of us in makeup for an hour is now, space-wise, is a doable thing. I'm very intrigued to know what's going to be happening on the Saturday when we do 2 shows. Normally between the shows, we go out for a meal as a cast, and we call it tea on stage, although it's not on stage. And we go out for a meal somewhere. And I'm very intrigued to see how that's going to happen, whether I'm going to be able to walk across Albion's Square car park dressed as Shrek, or whether I've got to not go for tea because I can't leave and get it off and back on again in time. So get my priorities straight. Never mind about the show. I want to think about my tea.
We stay with Tony now for news of other cultural events in the East Riding.
Ted, here in East Yorkshire, comedy performers Lou Sanders and Ed Gamble will be the stars of the final free Your Place comedy live on-stream show in the current series. Shown through local theatres online, both Lou and Ed are Taskmaster champions, and Ed is a Mock the Week mainstay. They'll be online on Sunday the 21st of March. The show is free, but you can donate to help venues at yourplacecomedy.co.uk. The world premiere of She Productions' latest work is a digital fusion of animation and live actors. Inspired by the scenes pioneered by Disney's Mary Poppins over 50 years ago, it goes live on Monday the 22nd of March by the East Yorkshire Company. She Productions have adapted the family musical Storytellers into a 4-part web series. Episode 1 can be found at the She Productions website. An outdoor exhibition in Pocklington celebrates World Down Syndrome Day. York artist Sue Clayton has produced 21 portraits of children and adults, including her son James. The work's on railings outside All Saints Church until Monday the 19th of April. It's called 21 to symbolise the extra chromosome that people with Down syndrome have. Bridlington Spa has announced plans for a phased reopening. Cabaret-style evenings on Saturdays will kickstart their programme from the 22nd of May, with larger capacity events from a month later. And Beverley is to welcome back 2 big events this year. There's the New Paths Festival at the beginning of July and the Chamber Music Festival from the 23rd to the 25th of September.
Until entertainment venues open again, you can always curl up with the new Hammond House anthologies of short stories and poetry, which gathers some of the best in modern writing from around the world. In other literary news, the winners of the 2020 International Literary Prize were recently celebrated in an online event watched by nearly 40,000 people from around the world. The event also saw the launch of the 2021 competition with new categories for short stories, poetry, scripts and songwriting.
I'm looking for that arresting idea. I'm looking for something new and unique.
To have that sense of waking up, which is what a good story gives you at the end, when you think,
Video workshops and a new theme song from Rachel McKenna provide support and inspiration.
Eyes and see the world through stardust in my eye. No, you'll never steal stars from my eyes. You can't destroy the magic with your lies.
Now, from Rachel to Kirsty, and more music you can enjoy from the comfort of home.
Known for their famous rivalry, Liverpool and Manchester have reached hands and hearts across the M62 to host the North Will Rise again. This live-streamed micro-festival on the 27th and 28th of March features the Charlatans, the Lightning Seeds, Red Rum Club, Ist Ist, Zuzu and Lines. The Philharmonia Orchestra brings us Tchaikovsky's Turbulent Piano Concerto No. 1 and Sibelius's theatrical King Christian II Suite in a broadcast performance from the South Bank Centre from the 1st to the 8th of April. On Saturday the 10th of April at 8 p.m, Live to Your Living Room present Bayerson Duo, Mikael Marin and Olof Johansson, in a performance honed by 37 years of interaction and touring that perfectly displays their unique interplay of almost telepathic communication. Lucy Farrell, a songwriter, folk singer and multi-instrumentalist from Kent, is also live in your living room on Wednesday the 14th of April. Much in demand as a collaborator, she has been an influential member of Eliza Carthy's Wayward Band, the Emily Portman Trio, and Carthy, Oates, Farrell and Young.
Oh, Sally, my dear, I wish I could wed you.
And finally, the one and only Björk and over 100 musicians will be performing a series of live concerts from Reykjavik's Harbour Hall, raising money for women's charities worldwide. On Sunday the 18th of April, she will be joined by a 15-piece ensemble from the Icelandic Symphony Orchestra in a concert of songs from Homogenic, Fornicura and more.
There are something like 4,000 businesses in North East Links in a relatively compact county area. We want to talk to more of these businesses as time goes on because we're able to bring in funding which in turn increases their trading ability and expansion.
It's all the good stuff, all positive and helping businesses to grow, create jobs.
Established in 2016 by North East Lincolnshire Council, the Investment Hub is an important part of the Council's strategy to support the growth of local business.
We sit with the business, we find out what they're looking at doing, and from our database and our knowledge of finance, we put them together with appropriate funders.
The team of experienced banking professionals, including Anthony Wynne, Sarah Bratton and Ian Girdley, provide a free service to identify sources of funding that can help companies grow and prosper. If you think you can benefit from this valuable service for business in North East Lincolnshire, contact Becky Darnell on 07921 562 500 or email info@investmenthubnel.org.uk.
Coming up on tonight's show, actor and writer Kai Bailey and heritage expert Gail Graham. But first, here's actress and broadcaster Liz Drury with a review of the latest film releases.
On Film Review tonight, civil rights drama in 1969 Chicago and Frances McDormand travels to the American West. But first, Life in a Year, a young adult movie from director Meecha Ocorn that attempts to transcend the codes and conventions of the genre. Darren, played by Jaden Smith, is a high school track star planning an exciting future when he meets 17-year-old Isabel, played by Cara Delevingne, who questions the future he's planned. When Darren learns Isabel is dying of cancer, he sets out to give her a lifetime's worth of experiences in the years she has left to live.
One condition.
Anything.
You have to stop saying I love you.
You want folks to feel your music, you gotta feel it first. So what you got for me?
Something, but it's rough.
That's more than what most people got.
The only way to learn about life is by living. And I've learned that every moment is your moment. If you can manage to look past your own fears and everyone else's expectations, the reward is your life.
Any film starring Frances McDormand is always worth a second look. Her latest appearance in Nomad Land, directed by Chloe Zhak, is no exception, already picking up awards and heading straight for the Oscars. McDormand plays Fern, a woman made homeless by the Great Depression, who travels in a van across the American West seeking comfort, wisdom and hospitality with the real-life nomads of the US.
One of the things I love most about this life is that there's no final goodbye. I've met hundreds of people out here, and I don't ever say a final goodbye. Let's just say I'll see you down the road. And I do. I see them again. And I can be certain in my heart, I'll see you again.
Based on the true story of Illinois Black Panther leader Fred Hampton, Judas and the Black Messiah blends fact and fiction to tell this dramatic and compelling story of the civil rights movement in 1960 Chicago. Oscar-winning performances from Daniel Kaluuya as Hampton and Lakeith Stanfield as FBI informant William O'Neill, who finds himself torn between his duty as a government agent and his admiration for the man he is set to betray. Our family film tonight, aimed at a younger audience, is Disney's 2x2 Overboard, a sequel to the original film inspired by the biblical story of Noah. We follow the adventures of best friends Finney and Leah when they are lost overboard from the giant ark and washed ashore on two separate islands.
2x2 Overboard.
Hey guys, what did I miss?
On DVD and Blu-ray, The Mauritanian, Promising Young Woman and The Never List are also worth a look.
Thank you, Liz. Some great film choices this month. If you have dreams of Hollywood glory, then this call for actors from writer and director Kai Bailey could be the opportunity you're looking for.
So I'm involved with numerous groups across Lincolnshire and beyond, writing, directing. My background's actually in theatre. So I did a degree in English and theatre at university, and from there set up my own theatre company called Other Voices Theatre many years ago now. Then I worked at Blackfriars Arts Centre in Boston for a long time. I was their production director, and part of my remit was to deliver youth theatre sessions from age 7 up to 18. And I've been involved in youth theatre ever since. And I've always been very passionate about youth theatre. I think it's really important to get children and young people involved in theatre at an early age.
And so you've been sharing your experience in script writing with community groups, running local workshops for people. Tell me a bit about those.
Kind of been giving creative writing tuition, one-to-one creative writing tuition. I've also established a couple of creative writing groups.
You've also been working with young people with Hammond House and the Youth Action Lincolnshire group. How's that gone?
That was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. And it kind of tapped into two things for me. One, my love of creative writing and script writing and the passion I've got for that, but also the passion I've got for educating children, and particularly doing some creative activities with young people. It's so satisfying. But yeah, we got some really imaginative work came out of that, and I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some of those participants putting together a script that we can maybe see coming through to Hammond House.
As well as all these other activities, you're also quite heavily involved in community radio.
Yes, that's another positive to come out of this year, really. An internet radio station was set up way back in March, actually, when we first went into lockdown. It was to keep the community connected with each other. I was approached and they said, have you got any ideas? And I had lots. So I wrote a lot of radio scripts last year and continue to do so. We've just finished a project called the Valentine Monologues, which I set up. And that was really nice because it involved several local writers and beyond, but quite a few local writers who wrote the original monologues, including myself. And so on the back of that, I've come up with a new idea, a new project called From A to B. And it's a new writing project, and we're looking for at least 12 writers to take part. And basically, if they're interested, they just need to email me and attach a short extract of dialogue that they've written previously. Doesn't need to be linked to the project, just so I can see an example of their work.
I understand that one of the Hammond House groups, Quill Writers, that you've been working with, have got some of their work also going to be broadcast shortly.
That's right. The Quill Writing Group, who are based in Grimsby, they invited me along as a guest facilitator to work on a project with them. So we worked on a series of monologues and duologues set in a zoo. And it's all from the point of view of all the animals in the zoo. So we've got the meerkats and the sloths and the elephants and the lions, and you yourself play a bat in it. And that at the moment, all the actors are recording the monologues for me. And then my editor, Callum Thursby, he will put it together as a piece, and that will be broadcast on Herkington Living Radio when it's ready, hopefully sometime in April.
Our literary guest this month is the fascinating Jean Cooper Moran, winner of the 2020 Hammond House International Poetry Prize.
Welcome to my kitchen, because the kitchen table is where I do my work. And I'm a newcomer to this area because for most of my career, I've been involved with science and healthcare. And it's only in the past 3 years that I've been able to put myself into the arts.
What was the inspiration for your winning poem that obviously touched the judging panel in a very profound way, I think?
Well, that came from my early life in work as an overseas officer with the Ministry of Overseas Development. I was sent out to Malawi and Kenya And the idea there was to help people to improve the ways that they stored their grain over the harvest period. And they had many stories about women who would walk miles to get children to a clinic. And this story was just a germ, because somebody had told me about a woman who had walked 40 miles to a clinic. And I wondered at the time, A, it was a wonderful achievement, but B, what happened to the relationship between mother and child on that journey? How did each of them experience it and their care for each other? And also, what happened at the end? Now, my poem leaves that rather up in the air, but I'm happy to tell you that she did deliver a very, very healthy baby.
So writing can have some wonderful therapeutic values, particularly if you are going through difficult times for one reason or another. Have you found writing and poetry particularly to be a comfort in that sense?
Yes, in the past year, I did lose a member of my family, and for a while, I couldn't put pen to paper at all, figuratively speaking. It just wasn't there. I have some very sad memories at the moment, and maybe some of those will be healed through writing about them, but that's one of the hardest forms of poetry to write, is a personal experience as deep as that.
Writing can sometimes be quite a lonely occupation or craft. How important do you think the ability to join writers' groups and network with other writers is to developing your creativity and talent as a writer?
Well, I'm very lucky in Gloucestershire. There are many networks and a lot of very enthusiastic and well-informed teachers out there who give their time to writers' groups, poets' groups. Vicky Hampton, Poets in Progress, is one of those very good teachers. I needed that kind of support and that kind of network to feel my way through.
Tell me about your hopes and dreams for the future, Jean.
Well, one of my hopes and dreams is to obviously be a judge at the Hammond House Publishing Competition. That's a real celebration for me, something I will never forget. And my second is to, with my friend Heather, who is a biophysicist, to publish jointly an anthology of poems, if we can find the time to get together, and if we can find enough material for that. And it will be about the brilliance and the amazing things that you can find in a scientific career.
You can see the full interview with Jean on the Hammond House website. People and organisations passionate about the rich heritage of our coastal community will be brought together in a new Heritage Network and Heritage Channel.
Heritage Lincolnshire as an organisation was established in 1991, so we're just coming up to our 30th anniversary. We're a charity that works to conserve the heritage of the historic county of Lincolnshire, so that of course extends to North and North East Lincolnshire.
So have you been doing any exciting projects recently that people need to be aware of?
Well, we're always involved in projects. We have two exciting building restoration projects going on a little bit south of the county, so working with a variety of funders such as the Architectural Heritage Fund and the National Lottery Heritage Fund and all sorts of other grants and trusts that we're incredibly grateful to receive. The building's looking wonderful, and it will shortly be opening up to the public and the local community to enjoy.
What have you been doing in North East Lincolnshire recently, in Grimsby and Cleethorpes area?
So in Grimsby and Cleethorpes, we've been involved in a variety of projects. We often work with the local councils providing advice on buildings at risk. In fact, we have a specialist officer who deals especially with buildings and heritage at risk. We have been doing some volunteers-led projects with Cleethorpes, looking at conservation areas. We have been doing some work on the Casbah, and then we're just about to embark on a really exciting project, which is to start to build a heritage network across the region.
And so tell me a little bit about the Heritage Network, because that's quite interesting. That's bringing together all the different organisations that work on heritage projects.
That's right. So it's been made possible thanks to funding, again, from the National Lottery Heritage Fund. And it's going to be a new network with its first meeting on the 21st of April, unsurprisingly via Zoom. And it is for anyone with an interest in heritage in the region. When we're talking about heritage, people often think of, well, it's the buildings we can see around us or the archaeology under our feet. Of course, it's much more than that. It's about folklore, it's about intangible heritage, things like language and dialect even. So we really want to open up this network, not only to people who perhaps work in heritage or volunteer in heritage, but those communities and groups that perhaps have something that's a little bit less well known.
Do you think that this new Heritage Channel is going to be able to help you tell those stories?
Yes, what we really want to do is to use the Heritage Channel as a way to update people on what's going on in terms of the heritage within the region, on perhaps highlighting or spotlighting a project that's up and coming, or something where projects are looking for participants, perhaps volunteers to get involved, and to also share new ideas. So perhaps something really exciting has come out of the Heritage Network, and we want to share that with a wider audience and get them involved. What we see that the channel is being able to do is provide people not only with news, but perhaps ways that they can get involved in things locally as well.
Join the new Heritage Channel Facebook group to take part in discussions and get the lowdown on new programmes. If you have a heritage story to tell, contact heritage@cletv.uk. Now, from past to present, and Gemma Lingard with a roundup of online entertainment you can enjoy in box office.
Cheers, Ted. This month we have a whole host of entertainment that you can watch from the comfort of your own home, or listen to if you wish. Thrilling drama A Small Town Murder, which is available to listen to now on BBC Sounds, alongside hundreds of audio dramas and podcasts, including the hilarious Wheel of Misfortune, with comedians Alison Spittle and Fern Brady. And from Shakespeare's Globe, a tribute to one of the most original poets of the 20th century, Stevie Smith. Dead Poets Live brings together the most exciting performers to showcase the greatest poets in history to new audiences. You can find it at shakespearesglobe.com. And there are two new offerings from the Original Theatre online, the first being Good Grief, a romantic comedy starring Fleabag's Sian Clifford. After the tragic loss of a woman that they loved, two friends face the 5 stages of grief and all the absurdity and pain that it entails. You can stream it online until the 15th of April.
I'm going to count to 30. Then by the time I get to 30, you're going to walk back through that door.
And the second offering is Barnes People, a selection of 4 exquisitely crafted monologues performed by leading actors including John Coleshaw. It's streaming now until the 31st of July, and you can watch both productions at originaltheatreonline.com. And finally, from the National Theatre Home, a multi-award-winning production of Tony Kushner's 2-part play, Angels in America, Part 1, which explores the lives of 6 New Yorkers in the midst of the AIDS crisis as they grapple with life and death. With a cast including Andrew Garfield and Russell Tovey, this is one not to be missed. You can stream it at nationaltheatre.org.uk.
I want to spend my whole lonely life looking after white people and get underpaid to do it.
Greetings, prophet! The great work begins!
Are you one of those follow me to the other side voices?
Well, that's almost all for tonight's show. You can keep up to date with the latest news on our Facebook page. And to make sure you don't miss any of our programmes, click the subscribe button below. If you have a story you would like us to feature on Billboard, email details to news@billboardtv.uk. As lockdown restrictions begin to ease, we look forward to reporting on the return of theatre, art and music across the region. In the meantime, please take care and stay safe during these challenging times. We will be back next month with more entertainment news, entertaining guests and great music.
Reach for far horizons, weave a magic spell. I'll tell my stories, sing my songs, so the weary and the wise.
It's Zuzu and Lions. On the 27th and 28th of March features the Charlatans, the Philharmonia. Is that right? The Philharmonia. You know I'm recording this and you keep chiming in, right? Shh. Number 1, and Sibelius's theatrical King Christian. Stop laughing. The Philharmonia Orchestra, the Philharmonia of live concerts from Reykjavik's Harper Hall. Hello.
Still stars from my eyes, can't destroy the